We're live.
See, every time. I can't not do it. Hello, welcome back to Book Chats with Mostly Books. I'm Jody.
I'm Jen.
And tonight we are discussing Book 2 in the Daevabad trilogy called The Kingdom of Copper by S.A. Chakraborty. Obviously, we love the first one.
We did.
So we moved right into the second one, and these are our thoughts. Well, let's start with the synopsis. That would be good.
Also, if you haven't read the first one,
leave now.
Even the non-spoilers part is going to be spoilers. And we do recommend people read this one. We very much like it.
Yes, we do. Absolutely recommend this one.
Yep.
Okay, so leave if you haven't read them, and then come visit us when you have.
Yes.
And now take it away with the synopsis.
Okay, so it's been 5 years since the end of City of Brass. Nahari is married to Mutandir. Ali has been exiled back to Amgazira with the understanding that he will be killed by his father's assassins. Dara is dead, probably. And Daevabad has continued. It's still standing. It still has all the problems it did originally. So we pick up with our characters and we find out Ali has been making friends in the desert and his family has been conniving back in the city. Nahari has been healing and working in the infirmary. And she wagered like her marriage to get a bunch of stuff. She got her a very sizable dowry. She got some other bargaining chips. Yeah. And Dara is not dead.
Gasp.
Very not dead. He's like a Marvel character. They die, but they don't stay dead.
Yeah, he kind of even makes a comment about that.
He's like, I was dead. I was at peace.
You and your dang family
just won't let me live. It's like, he's very tired.
He's very tired, and understandably so. Yes, very much so. Okay, well, to begin with, wait, was that the end of your synopsis?
Well, then you get your usual, political maneuvering and destruction and violence that you would expect from these characters, because no one it's just what they do.
Yeah, there is a lot of bitterness in this world, and such.
Yep.
First off, were you surprised when Nahari decided to, go ahead and marry...
A little bit, yeah.
Muntader? Yeah, me too.
I was, because usually that's, the threat that, hangs over characters, but then they don't go through it, or they find some clever way to get out of it. But, she goes through with it, and, how their marriage starts, they're like, okay, we don't really like each other. And they kind of seem to, understand that, at least.
Well, it's sort of in the beginning. I think they kind of tried.
Yeah.
Sort of.
They're like, yeah, well, we're married. Let's just get to know each other.
Right.
It's, not... Yeah.
Life happened, and that just doesn't stay.
No, they become very resentful of each other.
Second of all... Oh my goodness, I'm so glad Ali wasn't dead.
You thought he was dead?
Well, in the end of the City of Brass, when he's vanished, and the king is, basically hunting him down to kill him, I wasn't very certain.
We got two more books. We had two more books. He was
going
to last at least one
nervous.
more.
And then, oh my goodness, thank goodness Dara wasn't dead. Book 1 ended really intensely, obviously, and I was very happy to pick up the prologue and see all three of our favorite characters still there. I was stunned it was 5 years. I don't know how you felt about that.
It was kind of weird because I'm it ends on such a cliffhanger that you think the action could pick right up. Mm-hmm. But also these characters live to be hundreds of years old, so 5 years is
nothing.
A month.
Mm-hmm. And I will say, once I got over the shock of it being 5 years, I was actually really happy it was, because I feel like a lot of things, I think they all needed to grow up a little bit more from book 1 to book 2. So that helped make that progress. Here we go. Okay, now we're picking up with them, really into their life and into who they are. And now we're going to see what they can do with that. Mm-hmm. And second, there is an epilogue, I'm pretty sure, in the end of City of Brass. Is that correct? Do you remember?
I don't know. And there's not one on the shelf for me to look.
I feel like there was, because there's an epilogue in this one.
Yeah.
And you know how I'd feel if that epilogue wasn't... If there wasn't a gap, I guess, after the epilogue. Because you're supposed to have an epilogue is supposed to be years later and then a gap. So it would have been weird for that to pick right up after an epilogue.
Mm-hmm.
So I also was okay with that. What were there any surprises? I mean, there's obviously some big surprises.
Yeah.
But I guess, were there anything that's caught you off guard in the beginning, or you were like, oh, I wasn't expecting this to go this way in the beginning? I'm going to stress the beginning.
There's a good chance that I didn't think Dara was dead, but I'm like, he could also be dead, and there's, like, the dead characters in this kind of still have impact on the plot. Or even ones we think are dead still have impact on the plot, and then we find out if they are or aren't. So I wouldn't have been, like, surprised if he had actually been dead and his, like, spirit or whatever, or memory or whatever is, like, still there.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I also wasn't super surprised when he actually wasn't dead, because I was like, that kind of makes sense. They weren't going to let you rest. So, yes and no, kind of.
Well, that's fair. I think you kind of also sort of mentioned a good point, maybe unknowingly, that in this series, often when you think someone's dead, they're not dead. Like, this is definitely no body, no crime kind of thing. Because we had some surprise characters. I mean, it comes up right away in the beginning.
Yeah.
I don't feel like what you're going to tell us is a spoiler. So could you tell us, Jen, who the surprise character in book 2 is?
So Manaze is alive and very well. She's Nahri's mother. She was believed to be the last of the Nahids before Nahri turned up in Daevabad. And has a very brutal reputation that precedes her of being cruel and, like, conniving. Basically everyone, like, will be like, yeah, she's kind of a piece of work, even if they liked her.
Yeah, right, even if they liked her.
Yeah, she's there. She brought Dara back from the dead to be her Afshin.
Yes, because the plot's a brewing. I feel like we should really come back to her much later in this discussion, because she's a very interesting character that is going to be a driving force for this. So, before getting really into spoilers, any other characters you want to discuss or talk about how they've grown from book 1 to here?
Ollie really goes through a lot. Like, I didn't, at the beginning of City of Brass, I didn't really like him. I'm just like, you're just this stuck-up prince.
He was a very sheltered, naive
and I'm like,
young man.
I didn't think he was, like, going about anything the right way, and I'm just like, oh, you're gonna get more people killed. Which he does.
He does.
But he grew on me in that book, and then in this one, I did like him from the start. I was like, because I already attached, so I was like,
yeah.
And he does some pretty cool things in this one. He kind of, he's still getting a lot of people killed, but he's trying to be better. He's really trying to make his city better.
He's a little tactless about how he approaches
He's very
things.
tactless.
And unfortunately, because of the way his father rules, people do not do well in that world knowing him.
Yeah, and he's rarely the one that has to pay that price, which many characters tell him.
And yet he continues to have to see that. Yeah. He is such an idealist, and I do think there's great things to come from him. Mm-hmm. And he often was the character that I was like, yes, you're going to be the one to change it. So yeah, I liked Ollie, but I didn't ever not like him, because I was always like, oh, you have such promise. Anyone else you want to talk?
Is there anyone you want to talk about?
I don't know. Let me think. Well, first, I do want to also say that I loved coming to book 2. Book 2 was like coming home for me. If I could pick a fantasy world to, like, go immerse myself and, like, go into the world, this might be one of them.
You'd pick this one?
It's a brutal world. I'd want to be like a fly on the wall. But I totally want to see Daevabad. Yeah. In all of its glory.
Because there's a lot of fantasy worlds that's like, they're really cool, but you don't want to live there.
Yeah, I don't want to be a part of the story. I just want to be that character off on the side, very, very, very far side. Out of the way. And just watch everything. As a side note. Otherwise, let me think. I loved Nahari, but I loved her before. Mm-hmm. She makes interesting decisions in this one, though. I will say that sometimes I was like, really? I mean, now she's had a pretty hard time here. I think this 5 years has been pretty intense and lonely, and she's obviously grieving the loss of Dara and the betrayal of Ali to what she believes happened to Dara.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she had a really hard time coming to terms with that and maybe didn't deal with all of that and instead just dove into work. So because of all of that, she's made some interesting choices.
These characters make interesting choices. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. I do love how gray they all are. They're so complicated, and every time you think someone's going to do one thing, they always do something else. And you're like, oh. Like, I kind of thought this book was going to go differently than it did, and I'm really happy it went the way it went.
Mm-hmm.
But you just never knew in the beginning, I guess. Even at the end, I was like, it's not how I thought this was going to end.
Not how I thought it was going to end either. Oh, I thought of another character. Hot Set surprised me.
Yeah, I was excited to actually see more page time for her.
Yeah.
Ali and Zainab's mom, the second wife to Ghassan.
Mm-hmm.
I liked her.
I think we'll see more of her too in book 3.
I think we will too, because she's really good at political intrigue.
Well, she got shipped off too quickly. That was too.
Oh yeah.
That was too smooth.
Yeah.
Like.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're just gonna end it there. Still love Jamshin. He is struggling to come back from his terrible battle wounds, understandably. But he's a trooper. I just wasn't so happy with him and Muntadir. Muntadir. They're working through some things.
Oh my gosh.
So we'll see what happens with that. Okay. Do we just want to really, because I'm itching.
I feel like there's plot things we need to talk about, and like the writing's the same as the first one. It's just like lush and like complicated.
I love the font choice. One. I know that's a weird thing.
Well, it's serif fonts, and serif fonts.
Oh, we've talked about this twice now.
Serif fonts are superior.
It's great. It's such a mood. I like it.
So like a lot, like all the like style things really that we liked in book 1 like carry over, and they feels like the same author, same voice.
Oh yeah, I mean literally, it's just coming home.
Yeah,
in such a good way. Sorry. Did you want to talk about like the whole holiday that they're getting ready for?
Oh yeah,
because that's a big driving point, I guess, of the plot as well.
Yeah, so we got like 2 things kind of going on, and they're gonna converge. So Navas, you wrote it down.
Yes.
Navasatam is like their big festival that celebrates when when they were freed from him or whatever. It's something something to set up. I'm sort of unclear on that, because it seems like also each tribe celebrated it slightly differently. Yeah, they say it once in the beginning and then not again. But it's like a festival celebration for days. I thought it was like a month. Yeah, it's like a month of like parties and stuff. So it's a big deal, and it's constantly referenced to like, oh, we're preparing for this, we're getting ready for this, and blah 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 blah. And then in other chapters, we see Dara with Manaze, and they're planning an attack on Daevabad to coincide with Navasatam. And Manaze is like squirreled away in her tent working on something that she won't tell anyone about, and Dara is like, I don't like this, but I'm not gonna look at it too closely. Right, I'm just gonna do as I'm told, like a good Afshin. Oh, Dara. Oh, man, you had hope for him. I still have hope for him. Come on, he's gonna come around. How many more times is he going to disappoint you? I don't know. This was a big one. I will say that this book was like, everything, Dara. Oh man. Anyway, do you want to also talk about what's happening with Ali and how he plays into all this? So Ali is like in Amgazira. He has water powers now, and is like possessed by the Marid. But we're not talking about it. Yeah, but no one will tell him anything about it. So he's just like, oh, okay, cool. I can make springs. If I get too emotionally worked up, I start like oozing water. He starts leaking. He really starts leaking. So he's trying to like keep that under wraps. And he's, like, pretending that the people in his village are, like, they don't notice that he, like, holds his breath for hours underwater or just magically finds springs. He is the most oblivious character ever on so many things. He's so smart, but, oh, man, this boy is so dumb. Yeah. Book smart, definitely, but some of that other. Like, there's a part where Nahari, like, fairly early on finds like ruins of an old Nahid hospital, and she wants to restore it, and like Ollie helps, and he gets very excited over the accounting of it and like making the numbers work.
Oh my gosh, I know, right? And like hiring out builders, like he's so into this. He's like, yeah, we're gonna just make this great.
He's so into the logistics of it, and it's just like, oh, you need to get out more.
So needless to say, Ollie gets summoned back because of the holiday, and
well, he gets like roped into it by his mom's relatives.
Yeah,
that his cousin like stopped by his little town,
stopped by this very secluded village,
and was like too injured to go on or whatever. I was like, oh well, there's this plan, and like I'm just supposed to stay here and say I can't go on because I can't handle this material. He's like, and Ollie's like, oh, how very convenient.
Right.
That I can.
But I have to
in the middle of the desert. So he kind of gets roped into going back to Daevabad. And for a while he really wants to leave until he's like, oh, this city. And then he's like, this is my city.
But then he's like, but this city.
He's like, then I have to stay. And then Ghassan wants to send him back. He's like, oh, but no, I want to stay now.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing.
Yeah, that was a whole thing. Even Nahari was like, you just need to go.
Like, get out of here.
Here's your chance for a happy life.
No one in this book gets happiness.
Not yet. We'll see.
We'll see. I'll settle for alive. I'm not sure we're getting happy and alive.
I want alive as well. Yeah, so needless to say, they are working on the festival. They are building their hospital, all the while trying to also... give more equality to the Shafit and Shafit.
Do you say Shafit? I say Shafit.
I just said it Shafit this time ever, and I normally said Shafit.
I have the audiobook for the third one.
I'm like, what did they say? Never mind.
I don't know yet, because I haven't listened to it.
When we do book 3, man, you'll have all the wording.
I'll know how to say things, and I'll know how to spell them, because I read 2 of them already.
And needless to say, Nahri's tribe is plotting to overthrow, so there's a lot happening in this book, and there's a lot of politics in this book.
There's so much politics.
I kind of wanted to make a whiteboard and map out how everybody is in alliance with who and what, because everyone's doing something, and working towards whatever their goal is. So it was very
it's a lot of like people doing terrible things to each other, but they're all trying to get what they want, and
only a few have the greater good in mind.
Yeah, but even some of them, it's like, they're like, oh, this, but not quite that yet. I mean, it's definitely all the court intrigue and political scheming that anybody would want if that's what they like. Yep. Meaning Jody.
Yeah, meaning Jody. Any other plot points that you feel like we should cover before?
Not minor spoilery ones. There's big ones.
Yeah, that we will definitely chat about. Can we spoil yet?
Yes, I think we can.
Okay, great. We're spoiling it. So tune out.
There's huge spoilers.
Huge. This was a book. Did it fall into the second book syndrome for you in a trilogy?
No.
Not at all. I agree totally. Yeah. I would have been stunned if you said yes.
I was like, what? No? What are you talking about?
Sometimes book 2s are sort of, they feel a little more phoned in. This is not that.
No.
This was amazing.
Yeah, no, this one was very good.
Spoilers. Okay. Where do you want to begin?
Ghassan?
Okay.
Or Manase?
I was thinking Manase.
Jamshid?
I also thought Jamshid.
Like, Muntadir, like, we could pick any of the main characters and just go.
I kind of want to do Manase because that was huge. Okay, so I'm going to tell you all what she's making. She's making this, like, mist potion thing that will go out and specifically seek out, is it Gazeri? Gazeri tribe people and kill them, like, instantly. Initially, we're told it's only going to be, like, select, like, Ghassan and maybe his family. But no, it's the entire tribe she's going to try to wipe out.
Yeah, because she releases, like, it turns into a vapor, and...
That's the word.
I think it's, like, poison. I'm like, can you get to poison? It's poison.
Yeah, well, killing. Yes, poison is exact.
And it's, like, attracted to the relics the Gazeri people wear in their ears. So the relics, it's, like, a little bit of, like, baby hair or something, or some kind of, like...
There's something that's, a part of them in this relic.
Yeah, and they wear it because they think it protects their soul. I think it's more just that it connects them. It's, like, more of a ritual than having explicit magical abilities. Because otherwise we never hear about it, and it's just like a custom of their tribe.
And based on how once they threw the relics and they were fine, I feel like that is accurate. Yeah. Because it didn't seek them out by their DNA otherwise. They had to do it through the relic, getting melted into and seeped into them.
Yeah, so the poison's attracted to the copper, which is in their... It's basically an earring, like a stud that they're wearing. And so then it goes in their ear, but since they have biological material in the relic, it targets their brain and, like, brain boils them, basically.
Yeah, mm-hmm. I think that's the best way of putting it. Mm-hmm. And so, and she's painful, like, instant, not instant, but painful several minutes of a death. Yeah, and
Monazé's like, Ghassan can't stop it, because if he does, then the copper vapor turns into copper shards and just, like, lacerates your brain and kills you that way. Mm-hmm. So she has this poison, but the problem is she can't stop it. There's no way to, like, stop it, basically. It just has to dissipate into the air until it's at such a concentration that it's not lethal anymore.
I don't think she ever cared that she couldn't stop it.
Well, I think she wanted to, so it was more of, like, a refined weapon that she could use. But then she's like, well, it won't, so then we'll just use...
Yeah, it just... To me, that was never an issue for her, because she wanted to obliterate the tribe that obliterated her tribe.
Yeah.
And so this was a great way to do a mass genocide and take over.
You can't have genocide on a minor scale.
I know, I don't know why I said mass to emphasize that. You weren't supposed to notice that. I have to say, I really didn't think we would meet as somebody as bad as Ghassan in this. Yeah. I was stunned to see how... And it's kind of so gradually, like, built up in the book. Like, initially you meet her and you're like, oh, she's not great, but maybe... But you just keep getting more encounters with her that is, the more you find out, the more you're like, oh, no.
Because you get, like, this normal... It's, like, cyclical violence is, like, pretty common as a theme through these books. But then, so it's like, of course, everyone wants vengeance. So then it just, like, keeps going. And then, but she, like genocide's too far. Like...
And, even Dara at many points was like, I don't know about this. Especially when he found out that
Dara.
Yeah. It went and was just going to go and kill all of that tribe. He really had moments of conflict, which, come on, Dara.
Yeah.
Get it together and join the right side. But he did not, because there's a lot of baggage in his life.
There's so much baggage.
And I'm not sure if she's still controlling him.
I don't know either.
Because obviously Nahari's not any longer.
Yeah.
So then I wondered if he... We should also talk about what Dara may or may not be.
Yeah. But first, like, I want to talk about...
Yeah.
Ghassan. Because, like, in the first one, like, he's, like, pretty bad. But Nahari hasn't, like, figured out the whole city. Yeah, or she's figuring out all the politics, and that he's, like, trying to hold it together, and it's like, this is bad, but, like, is this the only way to do it? And then, like, I think her 5 years ago are like, no, he's just a tyrant, and we see him devolve even more into a tyrant. So it's like, there's some bad parents in this.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I say the second book, I did think, oh, Ghassan might still be our baddest of bad dads.
I thought Sauron in Children of Blood and Bone was the baddest bad dad.
We thought that, but then after reading this one, I'm not sure. He kind of went back up again. I mean, there was so much brutality, and the way he would punish Ali or Nahari by killing off people they loved right in front of them, just to do it, because that was the only way he could teach them.
Or get them to fall in line.
Yeah. I know. And as he lost control, he just kills more. Yeah. So anyway, needless to say, Nahari's mom, right up there.
Yeah, she's bad.
Was really upset about that. And, can we talk a little bit about the end? Mm-hmm. Okay.
We said spoilers.
We did.
It's fair game.
I was really happy, Nahari, when they met at the very end, that she wasn't like, oh, Mom, I've been searching.
She was overwhelmed, though.
But she was overwhelmed, but still like, whoa.
Yeah.
I don't know about this. I don't know that I trust you, even though I'm being flooded back with all of these memories, and we have got to talk about her memories.
We need to talk about her memories, because we don't get enough. Oh, my gosh.
And I have so many questions on that. So I was really happy that she just didn't go blindly to her mom and be like, yes, whatever you decide is great.
Yeah, yeah.
Here's whatever you need. I was really glad that she was like, no, this is not better.
She's like, I don't trust this.
Okay, anything else you want to talk about with those two parents or the vapor poison?
No, I'm good on that.
Can we talk about Dara real fast before we forget?
We can talk about Dara.
Sorry.
Dara. He's a whole mess. He's a hot mess.
Literally.
Yeah. He's a hot mess.
So, okay, now I forgot to say how to say Monazé brings him back from life. Or brings him back from death.
Yeah.
To life.
But he's like peaceful. He's like in paradise and he's with his younger sister and it's so sweet. And then he's like, I might never get back there. I am kind of running
painfully back from that.
I am kind of running out of sympathy for him because I'm like, how many times are you going to massacre people and think it's bad and realize this is wrong and still do it?
I agree. I was holding out until the very end and then I was like, dude, I just don't even know anymore. But I think we need to really talk about the fact that in doing so, when you bring a djinn back, they're kind of like an ifrit, right?
I think he is.
I think he is too, but he doesn't think he is.
And everyone's
it's very
telling
confusing.
him he's not.
But he has the claw and the look when he's not in his like human form.
Yeah.
I really kind of feel like he's just like lying to himself and he is a bit an ifrit, just hasn't like gotten as evil as an ifrit. Because I'm like, do you gradually grow into that personality? Because he's kind of on the way. So I don't know. I don't know if he's something else.
Yeah, because like Ollie has the whole Mard thing going on, but he also like his mother's tribe also has water power, so he's not.
Oh, I know, right?
He's not really a Mard. He's not a Mard, but he's not really possessed by them because that's a whole other thing. And he's only like half Ayanale, so he's not.
I know, Dara could totally be something else.
Yeah.
I'm just like, what? I don't know what you are. And I don't think he knows what he is. But the claw thing is weird.
And like, to be fair, like, Dara's he's becoming more self-aware. He's like, the Nahids made me this way.
Yes.
And it's like, yeah, they did.
Yeah, they made me into a weapon of destruction, and that is really what I am. Like, he did have a hard moment with that realization. And so, in book 3, maybe he's gonna right some wrongs. I don't know how he's gonna do that.
I want to see what the summary for book 3 says. And then...
Can we switch over back to Ollie? I think that because of his mom's water affinity, I think that's why he didn't totally die when he was attacked and possessed by the Marid.
Marid. I say Marid.
I always add a letter when I don't have it written in front of me. So I'm kind of intrigued to see about that. And obviously we didn't get any like knowledge on what's happening with him yet, but we do have the guy researching it. So hopefully in book 3. Except that I don't think Ollie's gonna be. Oh, he's not. He's not there in Daevabad anymore.
No, it's like
okay.
It says but the bloodletting and loss of his beloved Nahiri have unleashed the worst demons in Dara's dark past. To vanquish them, he must face some ugly truths about his history and put himself at the mercy of those he once considered enemies. Which was basically like this one too. Like,
yeah. I know. Okay, we should probably talk about the end.
Yeah, that told me a lot without telling me anything.
So in the end, Ghassan dies.
Yeah, because Kaveh was supposed to like sneak the poison into Daevabad and then kill Ghassan, but then like Ghassan like slaps him and he falls over and accidentally unleashes the poison. Which
I thought he deliberately did it. I thought
he
got slapped or whatever, and was so upset because they took his son. He had enough and he broke it. I thought he actually deliberately broke it.
I didn't think he meant to do it then.
Interesting. Well, I thought he was just fed up and like, I have to do this now before I'm dead.
I didn't think the timing was right.
He didn't do it when he was supposed to do it by any means, but I felt like he got pushed and pushed and pushed.
Oh.
That he's like, I'm just done. We're just starting it now.
Oh, I didn't think it was supposed to be then.
Well, it wasn't supposed to be then.
Yeah.
I just think he was fed up and did it then.
Yeah, I thought he just like fell and...
Oh, yeah, no, I didn't think that at all. So, yeah, because Kaveh was supposed to start the big, like, taking down Daevabad.
Mm-hmm.
Which he does.
From the inside.
From the inside. And then Dara's attacking from the outside.
Can we talk about his son and what his son does?
Jamshid? What about specific? Like, what happens that we're happy about?
No, that he tried to kill Ollie.
Oh, that's supposed to be minor. Jamshid?
Yeah.
Why am I drawing a blank on that?
Like, when they're at, like, court, like, testing out food for Navasata.
Oh, yeah, when he tries to poison him.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was so, like, that's, like, midway.
But, like, oh my god.
Yeah. I did forget about that. That's gonna get messy later.
Yeah.
Because can we also mention more about Jamshid?
Yeah, but, like, we knew this part, though.
Well, we didn't until book 2. We didn't know that he was her brother.
Yeah, we knew he was a Nahid.
But we didn't flat out know that until this book that he was actually Manzahe's son and Kaved's son.
Oh, I just kind of assumed that because I'm like, who else is son?
Well, I think that was a fair assumption, but it was really flat out told on this one. And
yeah.
So she has a brother.
Half brother.
And then, kind of, he gets really, really badly burned, and that tattoo finally burns off, and he can heal himself now.
He heals himself, and then he, like, speaks a dialect of a language that he doesn't know, and he's panicking, and he's like, hey, Nadi, can we talk about this thing? Can we really talk about this thing? We really need to talk about this thing.
He has no idea.
He has no idea.
No idea who his lineage is.
And he's, like, in prison right now.
Yeah.
Not knowing anything.
We don't know where he is now.
Wajid took him somewhere.
That's not in Daevabad. Or in the palace or something.
It's not in Daevabad. He took him out of the city.
Yeah, where? But no one's in the city now.
They're all still there.
Well, no, Ali and Nahari are not.
Okay, well, they are, but everyone else is still there.
Well, okay, yeah, her mom's still there now, ruling, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
She's going to take
Dara's
over.
still there.
Well, I'm assuming he's going
Zainab's
to.
still there.
We don't know what happened to her.
Akiza's still there.
Well, she's probably with Zainab, but we don't know where they are.
Lubaid's dead.
I was sad about that one.
Was too.
I mean, okay, the battle when
Muntandir's still there.
When Ali, like, wakes up in the water after they crush the citadel as Dara, like, explodes in with all of his creatures and ghouls and whatnot, was intense. But his water powers were so cool.
Yeah. Well, that's one good thing. The lake is no longer cursed.
Right. The bad thing, there's no more magic.
Yeah.
And the, like, city's literally crumbling because of it. Oh, yeah. And Ali and Nahari are, what, in Egypt now?
Yeah, they, like, landed in the Nile.
Yeah. Didn't see that coming.
I'm like, does this mean Daevabad is, like, geographically near Egypt?
Yes. Which we kind of, sort of knew because of the journey in the first book.
Yeah, but it seems like they traveled, like, a lot farther than...
Well, I think they're going to have to travel. I mean, I think they traveled, yes, a long ways.
They traveled a long way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because Daevabad's over here, and Cairo's on the other page.
I mean, yes, it was a journey. I don't know how they got there so quickly. Except we're not also sure how long they were in the water.
Yeah, but
when
like...
they get back into the water, when she jumps after giving him the Suleiman seal.
Yeah.
So exciting.
Or, like, did they travel from, like, one body of water to the other?
Who knows? We have no idea what his powers can do. And when you mix the two of them, because they're becoming incredible, I just don't know.
Ah!
There's so much. I mean, because she got really cool powers. I mean, aside from what she could do in the palace and all that stuff. But her sandstorm was really cool that she conjured. Yeah. Okay, we've jumped a lot.
We have jumped all over the place.
This was an intense book.
It was. Oh my gosh, it was.
Do we want to talk more about the seal and all that part? Or do we just want to say it happened?
It happened.
Were you happy with that? I mean, was there a better outcome?
I don't know. I didn't have thoughts. It was just kind of wild. I was like, I didn't really think it was good or bad or what I wanted to happen. I don't know what I wanted it to be. But it just kind of happened.
Yeah, and I feel like she made the best decision under that circumstances by giving it to Ali. I think he will be the best ruler in the long run based on these two books.
Hopefully.
But we will see how that continues. I mean, at least he has like all of Daevabad's civilians and whatever nobles in mind when he's ruling. It's not like, I want to just help my people.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Muntadir isn't dead.
Yes.
It was a little touch and go for a while.
That was. I really started to like him at the end.
Right? He grew on you.
And to be fair, I don't think he knew Jamshid was going to try to poison his brother.
Yeah.
So you can't hold that again. I mean, they have some brotherly issues.
They do.
But who doesn't argue as siblings? To some extent.
Okay.
I mean, it's a bit more than that. I know, but
I was really worried he was gonna die.
I really actually had written him off towards the end.
I was like, oh no. Okay.
Yeah.
But it was funny because like Dara's there because like Mutandir gets like slashed with the Zulfikar, so he can't. It's like that's a death sentence. Nahuri can't heal him, any of this, and so but he's dying slowly because the poison's acting faster than the cut.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, Dara's sitting there like, you're gonna tell me things, and then we go to like a different chapter and he's like, oh my gosh, will he just die already? He keeps like running his mouth. And it's just very funny.
But the whole point of it was that he was actually trying to get Dara to kill him.
Yeah.
Because he didn't want to tell them.
Yeah.
Tell him where they went. And what the Solomon seal where
he's like,
it was.
Dara like pressed his knife against Mutandir's throat and he's like, this is the 10th time I've done this. It was a nice moment of humor in a very bleak book.
And I really appreciated that. I think in that moment he came to terms with his relationship a little better, and I am really hopeful in book 3, although I said this at the end of book 1, that those two will finally get together.
Hopefully.
Like really be able to have a relationship.
Yeah. Ollie still doesn't know. I'm still not sure Ollie gets it.
He doesn't. I'm telling you, that boy's oblivious.
There's one point, like, Akiza Lubaid, like, says to him, like, oh, your brother and Jamshid, and he's like, what? And he's like,
Lubaid, yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, you don't know? He's like, oh, okay, never mind.
That was a great moment. He's like, never mind, I'm just gonna walk over here.
He's like, I'm not gonna deal with that. That's gonna be a whole thing.
What did you think about the creatures that Dara, like, creates? It like, that was pretty cool, too.
I thought the winged horses were cool. The rest of them, I just thought they were creepy.
So creepy. But I mean, he was like, it was kind of interesting that he was like controlling them and like seeing everyone's battle perspective as he's like, because he's pretty much the big general running this invasion. I thought that was something.
Invasion. Coup?
All the above could kind of work. Anyway, it was interesting. I liked attack. I liked that, and I was like, kind of wanted to hear more about that magic as well. Yeah.
Because he has very, like, weird magic.
He has weird magic.
Because he can, like, kind of turn into, like, the, like, hot breeze Deva form and just kind of flit around the world. But then he also can turn into kind of an Ifrit. But then he, like, was aware of, like, his slave magic, which he doesn't have anymore. It's very strange. Like...
So maybe he is just a whole new thing. That'll be cool.
A hot mess.
AKA a hot mess, yeah. Yeah, I really liked this book.
It was
just
really
so
good.
Much to have happen that I don't even know how to sum it all up and not be like confusing.
Yeah.
Please just go read this book. I really liked the hospital, and I liked the other doctor. I thought she was really...
Oh, Suba?
Mm-hmm. She was interesting.
Yeah.
I kind of want more of that. Do you have a favorite character?
Like, Nahari's the only one, like, I actually, like, genuinely probably like. The others, I'm like... The others, they're interesting, but they're often frustrating, or terrible people, or just... Ollie's okay, but, like, Nahari's probably the one I, like, genuinely like. And who's like a main character. Like, some of the side characters are nice, but then they're only there for like 2 pages and then they're gone.
Yeah.
Oh no, Jamshid. Oh well, okay. He tried to poison Ollie. Like, before that, he was
kind
of
just already forgotten that.
Like, before that, he's just kind of like our one character who's just like a good dude. And now this one, it's like he made choices.
He did it for his love.
I know, but like,
I don't know if that makes it better or not, but that's a no. I like Jamshid. I'm excited to see how he progresses in this new weird family relationship.
His family's so messed up.
It's gotten really sticky.
Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting to see. I don't even know where book 3 is going to go. They're going to have to, how are they going to, I don't know. I think the big takeaway too is the no magic.
Yeah.
What does that mean? I think it means because the Slime Man seal is no longer there, but what about the heart thing too? Like, you can't leave the city unless your heart, leave you. Unless you leave your heart.
He couldn't leave the city unless he did that. So the city, unless the whole price was that you can't leave, or that you'll doom the city, and then like any good ruler won't do that.
Yeah, it was so vague.
Yeah.
That we just don't know on that part either.
I thought that was funny. The Mutandi was like, I was 8 years old when he told me. I don't know all the details.
And I was like, you were only told once? You were only told once and you were 8? That is not a good way to prepare your heir.
I mean, there isn't any A-plus parenting going on here, so...
No. And, oh my gosh, none of them. Kavev is terrible. All of the parents are terrible. I still was not happy with the things she was doing behind Nahari's back, even though it was probably okay with Nahari if she'd been told that.
I thought Nahari knew. I thought there was a scene of it, but like maybe I read it wrong and now I don't remember.
Well, and I guess maybe I did too, but I really felt like she was deliberately not letting them get an heir, and that was her and Kavev's plan.
It could be that too.
And that Nahari was unaware. And again, I think she would have been fine with that decision. But it was, like, not cool that she was secretly dosing her with stuff.
Yeah, no. But it's like, even, like, Nizreen, who, like, kind of comes close to being a good parent, like, she's up to some stuff.
Yeah, they were all bad parents. No wonder these kids are having a hard time. Not that they're kids, but you know what I'm saying? Well, they are in their terms. They're very young. I kind of hope we can see more of their sister, Zainab. Mm-hmm. I liked her. Even though she's sort of crabby sometimes. But I liked when she kind of was, like, nice and took Nahari out to the town.
Oh, yeah.
When they did the little village run or whatever, even though she was also kind of not nice at the same time. She's very two-facey.
Or, like, when Muntandir was supposed to go with Nahari to the temple because, like, united front, husband and wife. And then he wouldn't go, and then Ollie's like, you needed katanis. I brought katanis.
I brought two!
And he's like, I got me and my sister. It's like, that'll work, right? And she's like, oh, my God. That was really cute, but, like, the siblings were like, we're here.
And she, like, just be silent. I liked that, too. And I think the Katani siblings specifically, are going to maybe come together.
I hope so.
They really need to.
They need to.
They just need to stop now Dad's not going to be manipulating them. So maybe they just have to deal with her mom now. Not better.
No.
I think it's going to be really...
That's a whole other thing.
I think it's going to be really bad and ugly when we start book 3. Like, I can't even imagine how bad the city's going to look when we open that first door. Page. Whatever.
It's going to be rough.
It's going to be rough. All right. Sorry, this was a very confusing episode.
That's a lot. A lot happens. And, like, this is the first time we've done a sequel. It's the first time we've, like, followed a series. Followed up the first book. And otherwise, we've had standalones.
That last 100 pages was just in the end.
It's a lot.
It was a lot.
It's just a lot. Just take our word for it. It's a lot.
No, go read it. And then come talk to us about it. Hopefully we didn't spoil this and you've already left. And then come back and watch it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we're good.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. What are we reading next week?
We're reading Sex and Vanity by Kevin Kwan, the author of Crazy Rich Asians. And I don't know anything about this book. It's fiction, so not fantasy for once. Yeah. I think
it's be kind of rom-com-y, but more fiction-y than rom-com-y.
More fiction than romance?
Yeah. So it should be cute. I think it's going to be a fun read. I think it's going to be a nice palate cleanse from all of our very dark fantasies that we have.
What do you mean, like, all of your reading isn't dark?
Right. I'm forcing a little fun and light.
Also, this is not a pastel cover. I'm just saying.
The hot pink makes it somewhat pastel-y. Enough pastel-y that, I don't know.
You can say bright.
Anyway, I'm excited. It's totally something different than we've been reading lately, and I'm looking forward to having something lighter, less intense, although I really want to go read book 3 on this, so that's going to be a struggle too.
So if we come back next week and Jody has not read any of Sex and Vanity but can tell you all about Empire of Gold.
It's totally possible. I will try to stay focused. So yeah, anyway, check back with us next Friday, and I guess...
Oh, did we pick one for...
Oh yeah, you want to share the next week?
Beginning of October? Oh yeah, beginning of October, we're doing spooky reads, whether that's vampires or just spooky, scary things.
Our term is spooky.
We're reading Vicious by V.E. Schwab, and we'll be discussing that. So that's like if you like supervillains, if you like Hannibal... supervillain origin stories.
Yeah. I think that pretty much is exactly it.
A character doing the wrong things for the right reasons, a character doing the right things for the wrong reasons. So more morally great characters and an author we both really like.
Oh, so I thought it was funny in this one versus what did we read last week? Shoot, it had a lake in it.
It had a lake.
Oh yeah, Guinevere.
Oh yeah.
Because it was so funny when I hit that part and the lake was no longer cursed, and I was like, why does this feel so like
why
deja
is the lake
vu?
empty?
Oh right, because the Guinevere's lake's not no longer cursed. That was the carryover theme.
Let's try and find a tie-in between this and Sex and Vanity. That's going to be very difficult. These are so different.
Yeah, we'll find one. I'll find you one. All right, we'll see you all next Friday. Bye.